the podcast Empowering People, a show dedicated to helping folks find their path to success. Sponsored by Hypnosis Works LLC and Realty MD. Your hosts, Dave Membrila and Martha Dabdoub. Take it away, folks. Welcome to another episode of Empowering People, where we hope to inspire folks to greatness and to success, whatever that may be, whether it's buying a house, whether it's getting your credit cleaned up, whether it's trying to get back in school or get that nail that job interview, or just losing 5 to 10 pounds. My name is Dave Membrila from Hypnosis Works LLC, along with my co-host,
Martha Dabdoub with Realty MD, where you're a pulse away from purchasing your home.
And I'm also a realtor with, my tongue is tied today, realtor with Martha Dabdoub's Realty MD. I'm her first realtor, as a matter of fact. Well, we're going to get started here. We got to, before we get to our guests, we're going to answer these questions that are coming in. And again, we inspire you and encourage you to send us questions that you may have about anything, about life. We'll give you the best advice that we have. This one's a tough one. This one came in and said, I have a son who has given us so much trouble. He's a drug addict. He's been arrested. He shoplifts. And when he does come home, we begin to find things missing, and he gets physically violent, flips out once in a while. We begged him to get drug counseling, but he won't just go. So anything we could do to get his life turned around. Okay, here's my answer to you. You have to ask yourself, can you change him? And the answer is no. You're not going to change him until he hits rock bottom. Now, I've dealt with this with friends of mine who were addicts, and I've tried to help them too. I found that they've got to help themselves. And it's something hard to learn. You may just have to ask him to leave the house and not come back until he's completely rehabilitated, or at least until he's checked into a rehab facility. Tough love is the hardest thing to do as a parent. And I had a personal friend of mine, who had his son arrested for breaking into a neighbor's residence when he was high on drugs. The neighbor knew who it was, knew whose son it was, and although my friend begged him, although he didn't want to press charges because he knew it was my friend's son, so my friend begged him to press charges. He says it's the best thing for him. Have him arrested. Go through with it. He needs this. Even though he knew his son would be able to get drugs in prison, at least he'd be off the streets and not stealing anymore. So what happened? The kid got locked up for about 4 years. And when he came out, he was a changed man, because while incarcerated, he became a born-again Christian and straightened his life out. Gave his life to God and did what he had to do to stay off drugs. So in this instance, I guess going to prison saved his life and turned him around. But it could have gone the other way. He could have hated his parents, never wanted to see him again. And as hard as that would have been for them, at least the parents wouldn't be living in fear every time he came around. So you're at that same crossroad. You can continue to enable him, in which he'll never change, or demand that he cleans himself up or leave the house, in hopes that someday he'll come to his senses. Whatever he decides, know that it won't be your fault. This is all on his shoulders. You've done what you can as a parent. And the worst thing that a parent could do is continue to enable their child in this instant, because nothing will change. They'll just keep taking advantage of you. So I'm hoping I've answered that. Martha, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you touched it right on the spot, Dave.
Okay, I've heard that said to me before, but we'll be back in a quick minute with our first guest. Thanks, and see you in a minute.
Hi, Dave. I heard you're buying a house.
Yeah.
Did you complete the seller's property disclosure statement?
Yes, PDS?
Yes.
Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware.
Hi, Dave. A realtor's job is to keep you out of court. A seller's property disclosure, if filled out honestly, will keep you from a potential lawsuit. Let Realty MD guide you through the home selling process. Call us now.
Case dismissed, court adjourned. You ain't called yet? Welcome back to Empowering People, where we have a brand new guest. You probably recognize him. Martha, go ahead, take it away and introduce our guest.
Today we have Chris Edwards, a local entrepreneur. He owns Tucson Appliances and known for his commercials. who does not know Chris Edwards commercials?
So welcome, Chris Edwards.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate for having me here today. I haven't gotten prepared. I'm really good about off-the-cuff kind of things. But I was just wondering, what is this Fred Flintstone tie doing over
I
here?
forgot to. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
it.
my God.
Put this
Oh,
over
that
here.
looks
I
cute.
was celebrating Father's Day. I'm celebrating Father's Day this weekend, and happy Father's Day to you, Chris.
Well, thank you. Happy Father's Day to you.
We went out to Pinnacle
everybody.
Peak, and my kids had me wear a tie. And, of course, if you know Pinnacle Peak, they cut off everything you're
So
wearing.
where is it hanging up at Pinnacle Peaks? I love that place, as a
I
matter
have
of fact.
no idea, but this is like my dying grandmother's Christmas present to me, and I can't believe they just cut it off.
Yep, it's just hanging there.
But it was like
What a good time. Did you have
like
a steak?
It was great. I had the big cowboy.
There
It's
you
like
go.
a Thai circumcision right there. So I decided to wear it in honor of Father's Day and all my kids and family and everything else. So
It
how was
must-
your Father's Day? Good.
It was very relaxing. Had a great time. Everything I wanted to do.
Great. All right. So
Awesome.
the whole purpose of empowering people is to give our guests a chance to tell their story, their good and bad, the successes and failures. So let's start from the beginning. Are you a local Tucsonan?
I am. I was locally adopted here when I was 6 months old.
Oh, is that right? Grew
Yeah.
up in the public school system here and everything else?
So, I mean, that's a long story, to be honest with you. And we
got
can go
time. We got a
along
whole
with that.
hour.
Oh, well, good. Okay. Well, then here we go.
Here we
So,
go.
I was adopted at 6 months old, and my mom and my father, Bill Edwards, who's also, he went to the U of A here. He's the one that helped me. He's the one that I learned everything from. He's the one that started Bedco Distributing and then went bankrupt. And then in 93, he started Priority Factory Service, where I joined him and I started learning the business. But about the other part is my parents, they divorced when I was 4 years old. And then my mom remarried and then had twins. And then my dad remarried and then adopted 2 other kids and then had another child. And I also had an adopted sister. And then he got divorced after about 20 years and then remarried one more time. So I have about 5 brothers, 5 sisters, and 4 mothers.
Wow. And now, were you the only one that went in I'm assuming this was a family business, Tucson Appliance, or is it something totally new?
No, it's definitely family, and it started when he lost everything, got a divorce. In '87, there was a financial crisis. I'm sure that you remember. Some of us do, and that's why we did so well after 2008, of course. But he bought a factory authorized service company with service technicians, and then he recruited me. I was a bar back at the Cactus Moon at one point in
really?
time. Yeah, and I was having a really good time over there, to be honest with
Cactus
you.
Moon,
But
I
you know
remember
what?
that.
I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps and be an entrepreneur, and that's what I've wanted my entire life since I was a child. And so him and his smarts and knowing people, he borrowed some money, and we started getting new appliances. I started going out to all the apartment complexes and selling to them. And the service company, all we had when we brought in the used appliances, we fixed them and then we resold them, and that's how we started getting some more cash flow.
Oh.
And then in '97, I became partner when I told my dad, stop doing this old school stuff, let's go on TV. And that's when I started my commercials. I had my first commercial in '97. We changed the company name from Priority Appliance. I got to choose it. I chose Tucson Appliance, and Google and all those people hate me because they can't sell me anything, right? Because it's Tucson Appliances in Tucson, they're going to find my website. Back then, the internet wasn't even known, but, I just loved it.
That's smart.
So I did go to Sabino High School also.
When did this come into play? Was that just out of the blue, or had you planned that?
So that was kind of out of the blue a little bit because what I was doing is something different than what people see now. And what it was is I was looking at the camera and I was pointing to a sign behind me with a price tag. And then I was pointing to them. So in the first one, which is old school, it was where low prices are your priority. And that's where the first one started. And then we changed it to only at Tucson Appliance where our low prices are your priority. And then there was, I don't know if that was the same one or not. I can't remember. But then I said, now we changed it with my son being involved and he's the future. We call it only at Tucson Appliance where you are our priority.
Wow.
No, that's pretty awesome. So I was also kind of looking into some YouTube videos, and I see where you wanted to change it a little bit, and you started off with your first commercial of the Hulk. Where did that inspiration come from?
So I went to Pima Community College for 2 years, and that's the only college that I had. The rest was hard knocks. And I found out that when you do a commercial, and back then that's all there was commercials, right? There was only certain TV. There wasn't streaming and all this other stuff going on. You have to remember the commercial and know what they sell. So I figured the Incredible Hulk was coming out, the movie, and I said, you know what, paint me green. Let's do this. Let's have a good time. And after that, the business just blew up. It was crazy.
I heard that you got flooded with people, and then you did the Superman, you did Batman was the worst ones, according to Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, actually, I won an award. I mean, that was watched 1 million times, and it was the most one of the worst commercials ever, according to Sports Illustrated. It was, you know what, bad news or bad. What do you call it?
Spreads fast.
Bad
yeah.
press is still good press,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Still had a good time. And then, and then the funny thing is my son's first commercial, he did Batman. And he did it so much better than I did. It's like crazy.
Generation to generation. So which commercial do you think is the one that really triggered for people to start recognizing Chris Edwards every single time he was on TV?
Well, first of all, I want to find out what Sports Illustrated has to do picking on an appliance company. The heck is that?
If you saw how bad that commercial was. I had a trainer at Bally's. She was in it. See, that's the fun thing about it is I like to just have a good time and just be me out there. And that's why people see, that I'm just a real person. I'm not an actor. I never took acting classes, as you can tell. And I don't have it like a professional thing. I just say, you know what? I like that one. Let's do that one. And my advertising agency gets mad at me sometimes because I'm just too real.
So you've worn a ballerina outfit. I saw one where you're playing tennis and you jump over the...
That was a John McEnroe.
Okay.
I did a Caddyshack. And I do a lot of different movies and stuff just to have a good time. And people recognize them, they'll remember them, but they also know I sell appliances. So it's a win-win all the way through.
So going back to the question, when do you feel like you finally got the recognition from that commercial that when you're out and about, you started getting your business flooded with people walking in, right? But now that was the icon for that's Chris Edwards on TV.
That's hard to say because, I've done so many. There's over 150 commercials that I've done, and they've all been good. I will tell you, though, right now, one that I'm running or going to start running again is the one that I feel like it's the best one for this century or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the concierge one because, you're here, you're there. You could call us or we could text you. We could send pictures and stuff like that. It's probably been our best-selling commercial out there. The rest has just been consistency of changing it up, of not just having the same old thing. And what's Chris going to come up with next? Yeah. And they like taking pictures with me with my... And actually, some people like Scott Lehman, they steal it. Martha steals it. Martha from We Buy Houses or something like that.
Marcy Williams.
Marcy Williams. She steals my finger point. And you can see it from time to time. People do it. But just like Scott Lehman, he's all, we're for the people. I mean, he literally took that from me. And he's a pal of mine, the little shit. Yeah. I always give him shit about it.
Scott Lehman, I bought a couple cars from him. I mean, he's annoying the heck. I'm the pickle guy, but he sells cars. Yeah. That's great. And your commercial is, I mean, there are a few commercials. Scott's one of them, and your commercial as well. It takes me back to the old days of the bargain center gentleman. I can't remember his name, but he used to say, "Neighbor, that's a ganga," and that's how you remember these jingles. And your guys. Both of your guys' yours and Scott's commercials are probably the only ones out there. I think the real people
that have
really
been
remember.
Consistent are the ones you really like, chimichangas.
That
was always
right.
Good.
That one as well.
And then Jack Fitzgerald, he's a pal of mine. He used to work for us back in the day. He was the TV king. I don't know if you remember him or not.
Yes.
But he did a really good job. And then Wally Sevitz. All those guys inspired me. They inspired what I came up with because, of course, I'd never taken it. I have no idea what I'm doing up there. But now I just have a good time, right?
And you're having fun.
And
so
it makes it fun for the consumer as well, I imagine. That's why they want to buy from you. I'd want to buy from a fun guy. That's why I went to Scott
Well, I
Lehman.
will tell you that all the advertising that I do, the newspaper, the magazines, the social media, the TV, the charities, all this stuff, you know, I could be out there forever. Word of mouth's my best advertising, 100%.
And that's awesome. That is so awesome. So I see here your dad was like your father figure, role model, mentor.
Yes, in certain areas, not everything. He's what I wanted to be as an entrepreneur. I wanted to, and I learned certain, you know how you learn little aspects from certain people. And he was a finance major, and I'm not good at a lot of things. And so he taught me a lot of the banking and what to do with the finance people, and which is important to have relationships with those people. But I will tell you, the one of the most, probably the most important thing that he taught me, and it's very, very important that you understand this in all your businesses, is hire people smarter than you in certain things that you don't know how to do.
So you work as a team. So when did your son get interested in following the same path as you are? Yeah, your footsteps.
I'm so proud of him, and you know, because it was unexpected, to be honest with you, and I wasn't. You know, he's been watching me all his life, of course. And, you know, when he was a kid, I loved it. He wanted to know where I hid all my costumes, all my superhero costumes.
That is so cool.
I mean, that's just a father's dream, right?
Yes.
You know, him being a superhero and all. But he was going to high school, and then he got a small scholarship to college, to U of A. He went for 1 semester, and I don't think he ever went to class. I am serious. And he said, Dad, isn't this what you want? And I said, yes. You know, because his mother wants him to go and go to 4 years of college and all this other. No, I will teach you everything that you need to know. And after that first semester is when I found out that he wanted to. I think other people had told him or talked him into it. And he is such a hard worker, and I'm so proud of him. He looks like his mother, and he acts just like me, and that's the best part.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's go back to school. What kind of kid were you in school? Did you ever get in trouble? Were you good kid, good grades, bad grades? And this is where we want to spill it.
All right. Well, this is, I mean, I'm open and honest, and it's so much easier that way. So, I mean, I posted something on Facebook the other day. I can't tell a lie because I can't remember what I said if I do. Right?
Yeah.
So I was just a fun kid. I went out and played tennis. I swam sometimes. I was number 2 on our tennis team, so I really enjoyed that a lot. And I was a very sociable, fun person. I loved everybody and had a really good time. I had such a good time. I failed my freshman, sophomore, and junior year in high school.
Oh, my goodness.
But I had the best counselor that helped me. My senior year, I passed them all. And I barely got out of high school.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
But
yes.
You know what? I was very sociable, just a fun guy, just loving everybody. I mean, just loving life.
So you had fun. You definitely had fun.
Yeah, that was the best time because, again, I only went to Pima for 2 years, mostly for finance and for business management. And the most I got out of that was, I mean, because my dad taught me the finance part, which was the best, was the commercials. And that was important, you know, to know how to advertise yourself. You're always selling. Sell.
So now with that transition, now that we have streamlining on, you know, on the internet, you're still doing a lot of commercials. Have you transitioned into going online too? Because now that's where the majority of the people
So I will say that, you know, a lot of people have the digital advertising. They have the email blasts. I hate that stuff. I'm just being honest. I'm being open and honest. I haven't unsubscribed to more stuff lately than ever. But then I ask all these people, do you know who I am? No. Oh, what do you do? Well, I stream and I do this and I listen to podcasts. Well, this is I'm going to have to say my second podcast because I did one with John McClain. He's a pastor and he's for the veterans. Do you know John McClain? You might know him. He does a charity event. But this is my second podcast. I've never seen or done one before, so I'm going to see how it works out. And I'm actually going to be doing another one with a superstar in my mind, and she's new to Tucson. Actually, she used to live here. She's Nikki West. I don't know if you know her on 94.9.
She sounds familiar.
She's the morning show host over there. Now I'm going to try podcast with her, but I also want to see how this one. I want to see if I get any reaction out of it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Do you think I will?
I think you will. I think you're a likable guy, and everybody knows you, and
Yeah.
they know this. I've even
important.
stolen that once in a while.
Well, that's good.
Yes. Yeah, because we started doing our commercials too as well, right? And they've been fun, and we're getting a good reaction on social media.
Yeah, they've been real fun.
Well, good.
As a businessman, what has been some of the hardest things you've had to do? I mean, firing people, or have you had people steal from you?
Oh, yeah, you definitely have. All employees are going to steal all the time. I mean, no matter what, they're human, and they always want to be paid more, and they're either going to steal time or a product or something that you have there, stamps. I mean, it could be anything. And you know what? That's a lot of petty stuff. A lot of people end up firing themselves.
Now explain steal time. That was interesting you said that. What exactly does that mean to a business owner or to a consumer?
Well, I mean, whether you're on commission or you're on, commission, okay, you're on your own time, but you're also on my time at the same time, depending on when you're at my store, right? So, you have your hourly people, they want to go and, be on social media, or they want to go talk to their girlfriends, or they want to play hooky, have a 2-hour lunch, be sick, call in sick a couple times. And part of that is stealing. But, you also have to have a good team and a good, honest team, and have people, like I said, I hire people smarter than myself. So in certain areas, I have really good managers, and I believe in them and I trust them. And a lot of them, I pay them sometimes more than they should be paid, or I buy them lunch or a truck or something like that to make sure that they stay with me and they're honest with me, and that we both are open and honest together, because I'm always going to be that way with them. And, I've got one employee has been with me for a little over 30 years.
I think I met a guy in a Chili's bar one time where we were having dinner. We were both sitting at the bar. My family was doing something else. I think they were out of town or something. And he said he worked for you, and I can't remember I can't remember. He said he was one of the managers who worked for a long time. Spoke very highly of you.
Mark Mata.
It might have been him.
Yeah,
it was
he's a cowboy.
Chili's he was wearing a cowboy hat, and he spoke very highly of you. And because I asked him, I said, "So is this guy as cool as he seems on TV?" He said, "Hey man, he's very cool. He's great to work with." And I think he mentioned he had been with you for a long, long time.
Yeah, we're actually I consider him a brother.
Shout out to Mark, man. Looks like you'll be getting a raise soon.
Trust me, I pay him fairly well. Very nice.
So you're empowering your team. You're
Yes.
empowering your team, and they're doing the job.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but I do a lot of posts on positive.
I do. I shared one to empowering people the other day.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I post a lot sometimes, and some people like it, some don't. And they say I'm a digital creator, so I see how many people see it. And so, you 5 people click on it, but 500 saw it, right? And so I just want people to think about that's what I see during a day. And I like to, when I read stuff like that, in the morning or whatever, it just makes me feel that much better at that point in time.
It's true.
And
It's
I hope
positive.
that's
You
what
set the
happens to
tone
other
for the
people.
day. So the other day I was at the gym, and you set the tone, and I shared it. And yes, Steve Nunez, did have leg day today. Shout out to Steve Nunez. Tell us something that nobody knows about you.
Wow.
Talk about being put on the spot.
Now, yeah, that's it's hard to say because I am a public figure, and a lot of people know everything about me, right? And that doesn't bother me because I like who I am. And the only thing I can really think of, and I don't know, is I'm a really good putter.
Golf?
Golf, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hit the ball far, so I'm a good putter. I mean, it's just hard to say that there's not something that people don't know about
So
me because
you're pretty open already.
Oh,
as a
yeah,
public
I am
figure.
open. I've always been. I mean, you can ask me a question. Do I smoke marijuana? No, I don't. But did I? Hell yeah! We were kids, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't inhale. I just...
Liar!
So Chris Edwards is here now. Is this where you want to stay, or are there visions to a different level, and how, now that your son is going to be taking over and being as part of your team now, is there a different vision for what you have grown up until now that you see this is where we're going to go to the next level to evolve and grow?
I love that question, and that is amazing. So my dad passed away about little over about 13 years ago or something like that. And God bless his soul. He was a great man. He did teach me everything that I know, and I taught myself a lot of my own stuff. I mean, I didn't do everything he did, but that's another story. I have over like 10 times done what we were at 13 years ago already. So I am just loving where I'm at. It's going to be up to my son. I've overdone what my goals. Sadly enough, I'm just, I can't say that there's a goal. I mean, open another location. I don't want to open another. If he wants to, he can do that. But all of the goals that I had for my life, I have attained and met at the age that I'm at now. And I've done it sooner than I expected.
When you give him the business, are you going to be there to guide him? Are you going to be like
I'm
overseeing it,
never
or?
Retiring.
No.
If that's the question. I love it. I will always be there, and I will let him have the reins and let him make the mistakes. Because I've made several mistakes, like we all have, right? And that's the only way you learn. But if you learn from your mistakes, then you're always ahead of the game.
Absolutely. Do you see the finger pointing? Do you see that, folks? All right, I got a question for you. Have you ever had an employee that's come in that you've actually helped turn their life around? That you've given them a shot, given an opportunity to work for you, and it's turned out great?
So there are several of those stories, and that's why people stay with me, because I want to encourage and empower my employees to a level that they don't believe they're capable of. And there's one employee in there, and he's one of my salesmen, and he came in one day, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and wanted to apply for a warehouse position. And he's a colored young gentleman, and that I don't care if they're colored, I don't care if they're Jewish, Mexican, I don't care any of that. Gay, pride, I don't care. I mean, people are people. We're all human. Human. He did that, and I had a position open, and he said, he lived in New Jersey, and he just said, he put down on his application that he used to sell shoes. So I said, you know what? We need a salesman. It's not really hard to sell appliances. People come in, they know what they want. I need a refrigerator. Sell them the refrigerator. I need a washer and dryer. Sell them the washer. So he came, and he can't thank me enough every day where he's at right now, because it was a commission job, and he was scared to take it on. Of course, we pay hourly for 90 days, but he's saved. His whole life has just changed completely. That's just one of them. I mean, I would say there's about at least 10 or 12 other stories I could tell you about, but that would take some time.
Has there been anybody that you've trained, you brought up through your system that's grown up and grown out and started their own appliance business?
No. I'm not going to, except for, nobody's really left, right?
Oh,
The longevity in the employees.
I know what he's talking about, but there's only certain people that, everybody has stayed. There's some that probably could do it if they had the financial backing. I would say there's 2 or 3 people in there that I have, but I'm a pretty good boss. And I know this.
I think I may
And
want
that's
to work
important.
on it.
It's important to empower people. Chris, can you tell me about a time when you almost gave up, how you felt about it, and what you did instead of giving up to continue?
So there
moving
was
forward?
one time, and it was during my dad's tenure. He was a yeller and a screamer and stuff like that. And thank goodness there was something that he taught me that was very important also in life is, you can yell and scream and do all this, and then 10 minutes later just be done with it and be over with it. But you're mad at the situation, not always mad at the person, right? So I hate telling this story, but I love telling this story, okay? You're going to bring it out of me. And this is probably one of those questions somebody that they don't know about me, right? Is there was a point in time where my dad was teaching me, he ended up doing it on accident, how to do the financing and pay bills and stuff like that, right? Which is important. And so what he would do is he would write checks, and he would put them in envelopes and stamp them. And he put a date on them, when to send them out. Well, this little kid went up there one day and saw all these envelopes and there was stamps on them. Said, what? They forgot the mail. Let me just throw them all in the mail. Let me tell you what, I'm glad he didn't spank me or anything, but he turned red, almost had a heart attack, had to call like 15 people because, you know, we would have gone bankrupt if there was, because that's a way to make sure you have enough money in the bank, you have enough coming in, going back out, right?
Yeah.
And so I almost quit, yeah. He fired me like 10 times, but I mean, that was the only time I almost quit.
Do you ever find yourself as doing the same things that your dad did in business that you didn't like him doing? Like, were you a screamer or a yeller? Or?
So, yes, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm like him at all because, of course, I was adopted, so we don't have the same genes. He was, you know, Chicago, and I'm a mixture dog thing or something. But no, I mean, I'm very, I don't get mad at a lot of things. When I do get mad, I tell them that I'm mad at the situation. I do yell and scream, and they don't understand sometimes. It's just, I hate it when I say, I'm a lefty in my right mind, so I say things differently, and I can't get them across properly sometimes. And it confuses me, too, sometimes. So I have to tell them, like, I hate to, you know, I'm going to tell you about that time. I'm going to tell you about that time. I'm going to tell, you know, I say it like 5 or 6 or 7 times, so they know that I'm upset. I'm upset at that, and this is what I want them to do. And, you know, it's annoying to them a little bit. I don't know if it's degrading. I don't mean it that way. I'm just mad at the situation that you're not understanding what I'm saying, right?
Okay,
So-
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's your inspiration to get you out of bed in the morning?
So, I mean, you know, I was adopted, so it's a blessing that I'm alive, right?
Real quick. You said that 2 or 3 times. Have you ever had an opportunity to meet your real
So-
parents?
My birth brother, who lives in Tucson, I don't know if you ever heard of not my birth brother, but my half brother. He owns Unscrewed Theater, and he also works at the casino
Oh, is that
as a
right?
dealer. He was adopted in Tucson also. He's older than I am. And he found me at age 25,
Wow.
okay? And so I didn't know, I think, till after age 13 or 14 that I was adopted. Never really thought about it because, you know, I had my dad. My dad's my dad. My mom's my mom, right? But he found me at age 25, and my dad was, you know, like, oh my God, do you want to meet this guy? Yeah, I want to meet him. I'm good. I mean, we're all different humans, and everybody takes things differently. So when we got together, we ended up deciding that we would find our birth mother. And yes, we found her. And, you know, she had 3 other children after that, so altogether she had 5. And, you know, we still talk, and actually she sent me a Father's Day card and birthday cards, and, you know, she acknowledges us. But the funny thing is back in those days with the religious problems and issues, you know, she never told her parents, and her parents are still alive.
Wow.
Which is kind of weird. I'm just like, God, people are different, aren't they? What are you afraid of? We're all human. Tell them.
You know,
Yeah, but
was
back
that
in the days, it's really hard to speak.
But that
of
was
any-
then. This is now. Is
Yes,
what I'm saying.
yes.
was that a very emotional meeting with meeting
With-
Mom for the first time?
yes.
I mean, I can't imagine.
So it was mostly for her than it was for us. I mean, we were already on our thing. It would be nice to know what happened or whatever, and maybe meet our birth fathers. Of course, mine passed away, so I never. Once my dad passed away, my adopted father, who was my dad, I never really looked for my birth father until after that. My kids wanted to know, you know, just for health reasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or you just never know. You might want to meet them just to say, hey, you know, do you even know about me? Because you
Yeah,
don't know back in
yeah.
those days.
Yeah.
You know, they were in the Marines and fighting wars and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was emotional.
So do you often see your mother now that you had made that reconnection, both you and your brother?
So she follows me on Facebook, and she gets to see all my posts, and you know, she comments on some of them. But no, she lives in San Jose, so I mean, I don't travel a lot. I love Tucson. I love our community. I love all of our people here. I don't leave very often.
That's cool. Okay, back to your question. I'm sorry, Martha, I interrupted. What is your why? What gets you up in the morning?
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so did I. Thanks, Dave. Thank you.
Well, because I was adopted, I'm blessed. I was, you know, I'm here for a reason. And, you know, you only live once. And we're all human. And I could leave this studio right now and get in an accident and be bedridden or die. Enjoy life, period.
What would you say to, and this is one of the things that we want to do with empowering people is to help people find their way back to some sort of success, even on a minute level. What do you say to the younger generation right now? Because what we notice is, and this is real sad. I told this story the other day. I went to 2 different Circle Ks. To get a soda pop, I'm a Polar Pop aholic, I guess. And one kid was real young, and I mean, he must have been his late teens, maybe early 20s, and he was panhandling. And I just thought to myself, man, this guy looks in better shape than me. I don't know what the situation was, but I thought, man, that's kind of sad. And when the Circle K I went to, the first one, the soda fountain, it was down, so I had to go to another Circle K, and there was another gentleman, I would say maybe early 40s, who wasn't panhandling. He had a squeegee, he had a bucket, and he says, hey, can I wash your windows for some change here, 50 cents or something? And I said, yeah, my windshield was terrible. And afterwards, I just found all the change I had and gave it to him. But there's a different work ethic, I think, now, especially with the younger generation. Have you noticed that? And what would you say to those kids as they get older?
Okay, that's good to hear. I would say that you need to have a work ethic. I've got several young people working for me right now. The best part about that is I have my son there, and he's a workaholic like his father, and he likes to go and he wants to succeed. He's having a good time working in the warehouse and doing the labor, doing the hard stuff, going on the deliveries and installing that. But you know, you have to go out and do the job that's presented. Go out there and don't bring your family life to work. Go there, do your job, act, do what's asked of you, and then leave, and then go have your family life. You have to have work-life balance.
Tell us what a Chris Edwards day looks like. What time do you get up in the morning? What time do you end your day?
And you're going to follow this?
Yeah.
So I get up about 3:30 in the morning right now.
Okay.
And I get to the office about 4.
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh my good Lord. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, the
and
early
to
bird
do that is the early bird gets
gets the worm.
But you know, to do that, you know,
Who
it
likes
takes
worms?
65 days to get into routine. So do that for 65 days, and then your body will attain to it, and it'll be normal for you to wake up at that time. I don't even need an alarm clock anymore.
What time do you go to bed the night before?
9 o'clock.
9. Okay, so good 6 hours.
Yeah.
Good 6.5 hours.
You only live once. Enjoy the entire day, right? That's
Right.
how I see it. I'm sorry. But I mean, I love life. So I get there at 4 in the morning. I get all the financing done. I look at the deliveries. I make sure that all the, you know, what checks cleared the day before. And I get about 2 hours of work done, you know, going through all the desks or whatever I need to do, see the sales from the day before. And then, you know, for those 2 hours, that's about 6 hours worth of work because nobody's bothering me. I get everything important done, out of the way. Then I go shower, shave, all that good fun stuff. And then I come back to the office, tell everybody what to do, and make sure they're all doing it, and then I leave. Because then I can go out and do my thing. I'm a member of 12, 13 different clubs. You know, I network a lot, and you'll see that on that because I like people, and word of mouth is my best advertising, and charities are important to me.
Which is
So
the most important one?
what is-
Charity, where you felt fulfilling in the heart.
Gosh, they're all. I mean, I love humans. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's the hardest thing because I do look at all the charities to see what they do, but if they're helping somewhat a human, because you know you got the Heart Society, you got the Angel Charity. Now I've got the diaper bank, and you know what? I might have to use those diapers one day. But I mean, just there's just so many different ones that you know. There's one that is tomorrow night, Reaching for the Stars, for the kids to go out and teach them. You know, hey, there's an actual world out there, and they don't see that. But you know, so I get the 6 hours of work done in 2 hours. Get all that done. Tell them what to do. Then I can go to all my clubs, whatever I need to do, my breakfast meetings or what. So whatever. You know, I got Tucson Association of Realtors, charitable foundation meeting that I'm doing the golf tournament. That's today at 2 o'clock. So, you know, that's a fun one. But then I get back to the office. We close at 6. So I get back about 4:30, depending on what time. There's in between time I'm golfing. I get my golf out of the way if I can. You know, you have to have your you time, right?
Yeah.
But then I get there, I get back to the office about 4:30 or whatever, and we close at 6. So you know I'm coming back every night, so they can't steal too much from me.
Do you live far away from your place of business?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, so you have time to go home, shave, and
I can go back and forth, exactly, 100%. So, I mean, that's just how my day looks. I mean, I try and go through different things. I have different meetings. You have advertising meetings, and you got Rotary and all that.
Is it easy
stuff.
for you to get away and take vacations?
It could be, and because now with all the internet stuff, and I like working too much. I like what I do. I like being there. I like, not saying I'm controlling or not, but I like to make sure that everything's going smoothly. When I do take a vacation, this last vacation I took was a business vacation, so most of it was paid for. It was in Fiji for a week with my son, and
Really?
yeah. So that was a good one. We had a meeting up there, but that was the first time I did absolutely no work at all, no social media, no phone, no nothing, and it was just super relaxing. And we actually did a lot of nothing.
Yeah, well,
he
which
didn't
is
want to do
you
anything.
time. So you talked about having excellent managers, and there's been longevity there. What prevents you from doing it more often?
Well, that's what I'm cloning Corbin into, my son, and once he gets more into that role, which he is actually, and now that we're changing the POS system to be more digital and stuff, that's going to be. I hate that stuff. I need somebody to show me how to do
Yes.
certain things. That's all I want to know how to do, right? But once I get him there, then yes, I will take more vacations.
how old was Corbin when he started with the business, helping you out? Was it since he was a little youngin', or?
Yeah, he's come in before and cleaned a lot, and he really didn't do a lot. And he was really into school and his friends. It was a private school, Desert Christian. It's a great school and everything. And I didn't know, he really didn't do that much, to be honest. But when he only went to one semester of U of A and didn't want to go, and he said, this is what I'd rather do. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want you to teach me everything you want. That's when he came. And so he's been there ever since then. And he gets in there at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, routes all the guys and stuff like that. And he doesn't leave till 6 at night.
How old is he? How old is he now?
He's 22.
22, and he's running he's starting to run the
Yeah.
business that
He
big.
is
How many employees do you have right now?
53.
Wow, that's
That's a lot of feeding families, and that's a big payroll. And let me tell you, that's one thing that's hard in business is payroll. You have to make sure pay yourself first.
Okay. We're going to be back in a minute with Chris Edwards and more of Tucson Appliance.
Where you are a priority.
Do you have a football player that's afraid of getting hit? How about a baseball player that's in a slump? Or how about just wanting to tweak your golf game just a little bit more? At Hypnosis Works LLC, we've been helping athletes overcome obstacles and tweak their focus for the last 8 years. Call us now for your free consultation, 520-465-7457. Welcome back again to Empowering People, where we have Mr. Chris Edwards from Tucson Appliance here with you, and he's going to fill us in. Chris, one of the questions we had is before even the appliance business, anything like that, did you have any other jobs?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. And you know what? I started out, of course, sweeping at Bedco Distributing, which was my dad's place. And that's when I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, sweeping the warehouse and cleaning the toilets and stuff like that. And then he went bankrupt. So I had to go out and find a real job also, right? So I went as a cook at Famous Sam's at one point in time.
Which one?
I don't know. It was on the one on Prince and First.
Okay,
I don't
Prince and
think it's
First.
Famous Sam's there anymore. So, I got a job there for a little bit. And then I was a dishwasher at Kook and Dutch. That was on Swan and Broadway at one point in time. I worked my way up from cook to, from dishwasher to cook though also. So, I was working hard for those tips and trying hard. And then I got the great opportunity to go to the Cactus Moon and become a barback. I started growing up. And I met some fabulous, amazing people back there. And there was a secret thing called, you get a coffee cup. It's called a cold coffee. And I got in trouble a couple times with that. And that's where my dad found me. And he recruited me to Priority Factory Service after that.
And that's where it took off.
That's where it took off.
So, as you know, Mr. Edwards, did his share of cleaning toilets and working the
A lot
odd
of
jobs that we all
dishes.
do.
Those people are messy.
Now, if let's say President Biden would come into town and he asked you, hey Chris, take me to some of your favorite restaurants here, where would you take him?
Yeah, I mean, local restaurants, definitely. And I only go to local restaurants from time to time. If you see me at a chain, it's because somebody asked me to pick something up for them. But I mean,
What are your favorite restaurants?
I'm going to say, I mean, I wouldn't take Biden anywhere, but let me think of somebody else. I'm just not political at all. I mean, I don't go either way. So, because they're all my customers, just so you know. But
Nice save.
right now, I would have to say that my favorite place is Guadalajara Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Because they have the food in there and the salsa that they make on the tableside salsa and all that stuff. It's just like, man, I'm getting hungry now, and now I'm trying to be on a diet.
You ever hear the mariachis there? They're good friends of mine. They go there. Is that the one on, where's that at? That location, is that Speedway?
There's several of them.
They're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a trio of friends of mine that go there and play once in a while.
There's one on Broadway. There's one on Oracle. There's one on Prince.
Portaro.
And they're all over the place. I mean, no matter which one you go to, they're all
Support
very good.
local.
Yeah, 100%. Tucson Originals. Go to TucsonOriginals.com and you'll see several local restaurants in there.
That's awesome. Chris, how would your friends describe you in one word? And how would your immediate family describe you in one word?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, my friends, they just look at me and just say that he has no filter. You know what? And I do, because I'm open and honest, and I'm not the smartest.
Frank? Would you say Frank?
Yes, okay, Frank. I mean, I'm not the smartest tool in the toolkit, and I try hard, but again, I'm a lefty in my right mind, right?
And how
so
about your
we all think of things differently and see things differently.
and your kids, your family?
My family,
How many kids you got?
I work too much. I've got 2 kids. I've got a daughter also.
How old's the daughter?
She's 20.
Is
She's going to Pima right now. She's not interested in my job at all. She will not. I mean, she's more interested in staying home and doing something on the computer.
Cool. Any grandkids yet?
No, she's 20. He's 22. No. Thank goodness. No.
That's awesome. So,
Let them enjoy kids. Let them
Yes.
enjoy their teen lives first.
Agree.
besides golf, if you had a pair of tickets to any sporting events that you wanted to go to, where would it be?
Gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here because, I mean, I don't really watch a lot of sports. And you said it couldn't be golf, right?
Or it couldn't be golf. Okay, let's call it something else. Let's call it anything other than golf or charity, because that's too easy. What would be the place that you'd want to go out in the community?
Okay, I'm just going to say it, Roadhouse. I
Roadhouse.
love that movie theater.
Oh, yeah. That's the one where everything reclines. They have liquor there, and they feed you.
I don't
It's a good
drink,
place.
so that's that helps with my sleeping and waking up early. But no, I mean it's just because I like movies. I like different movies, and I'm just when I go home at night, I don't do really talking, or I mean I don't talk about work. I just like sitting there, then I'll just go and watch a movie.
Ah,
Oh,
It's
that's
very relaxing.
it is. So, what is your superpower or animal spirit?
Wow, animal spirit. Now we're really getting deep, aren't we? I'm gonna have to say owl.
An owl, and why?
Because I've just got this soul that is always looking and watching and thinking in his own head, I guess. That's my thought.
Okay,
Awesome.
Chris, is there any last words you'd like to tell our viewers out there and anybody listening to the podcast?
A good quote, and end it with a good quote. Tell us what you want to end it with, and end it with a good quote, because you're on social media every day motivating people, and I know the other day you motivated me.
Oh, well, good. I appreciate that. Well, I mean, I just want to say that I want to see how this works. So if you have any questions or concerns, I always put my cell number out there, 520-979-1377. Most of the time I answer it. I'm never in a bad mood. I'm always wonderful as usual. So if you keep that attitude and you keep saying, hey, I'm wonderful as usual, or I'm in a good mood, then your brain thinks it, then you think it, then you believe it, then you live it. That's the best way I can think about
Yes,
it.
it is.
Remember, only at empowering Tucson people is your priority.
Your priority.
Again, we want to say goodbye. My name is Dave Membrila from Hypnosis Works LLC, as well as Realty MD, along with my co-host.
With Martha Dabdoub, where you're a pulse away from the purchase of your home.
And Chris Edwards, where Tucson Appliances, only you are our priority.
Thanks again, folks. Keep sending us those questions, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Ciao.